Jalen Hurts and the Philadelphia Eagles head to MetLife Stadium to face Jackson Dart and the New York Giants on Thursday Night Football. I'm fired up for this matchup. Anytime you have a historical NFC East rivalry, it sort of just gets you excited. Now, the Eagles have won 7 of the last 8 matchups in this series. They have dominated as of late, and they are coming off of a very tough loss against the Denver Broncos. Now, I understand, were there a couple of bad calls in that game? It could have gone either way. Did Philly get the rough end of the stick? Absolutely. But again, when you are a team like the Eagles, and why I personally thought they were the best team in football is, despite going through some adversity, they found a way to win games. That did not happen at home against Denver. Now, the New York Giants, they're not going to be feeling sorry for their divisional rivals. They're coming off of a very bad loss against the New Orleans Saints, who I frankly had right there at the bottom for worst teams in the NFL, especially coming off of that very emotional and exciting win against the Los Angeles Chargers. It was just a letdown. Their quarterback, Jackson Dart, struggled throughout the day, turned the football over a couple of times. The fumble, the multiple interceptions. Skattebo puts the ball on the ground. He's become one of my favorite players to watch in the league. There's a certain play where he just pile drives a defender on a blocking assignment, but you can't cuff up the football in important moments. He has been an injection of life into this Giants offense, especially now they need that against New York because they don't have their out pitch. They don't have their go-to on a 2-2 count, and you need to strike the guy out or get an out in Malik Nabers, one of the best wide receivers in the NFL now. And the update with him is he is going to have surgery. I'm recording this video on Monday morning, and he's going to have surgery to repair the ACL and meniscus. We all wish him well. I know Eagles fans, even for you guys, are for the most part good people and are wishing him a speedy recovery. It looks like the timetable will be about for training camp for him. But this is an Eagles defense that has struggled to stop the run. Right now, they are currently 21st in the NFL in run defense. They're giving up 127 yards a game as a defense. Last year, they were 4th in the league, only giving up just over 100 yards a game. Now, where I give Philadelphia a little bit of slack, especially going into this matchup, is that they've played incredible competition. The Rams, Denver Broncos are clearly really good teams. The Kansas City Chiefs are starting to put it together right now, and that's a little bit different from what a lot of other teams across the National Football League have faced to start off their season. Even the Dallas Cowboys have proved that they have a very high-flying offense in their performance against Green Bay, that this team can really put it together and run the football well, like they had over 200 yards against the Chicago Bears. Like, this is a really important game for Philadelphia to say, hey, we're going up against an inferior opponent. No shade to Giants or to their fans. We're going up against an opponent that we're supposed to beat. How do we perform on the road in prime time? Well, I know that they're going to be down at Nolan Smith. He's been on IR. They have injuries throughout this team. I feel a little bit like I need to talk about Nolan Smith because the hype on this guy coming out of Georgia, where there itself he was coming off the injury, that's a little bit disappointing to me. They're still waiting to see if Nakobe Dean can be available. He's still waiting to be activated off the physically unable to perform list. So there are a little bit of questions now for Philadelphia in how they can stop the run. And Skattebo, as a lot of people are starting to understand, is just a different animal. Now let's talk about that Philadelphia passing attack now, because this is where I really believe that this game can be won, because they have an ability to lean on you like we saw last year or like we saw in the second half against Los Angeles Rams, that they just have better players. I mean, Devontae Smith and A.J. Brown, when they're in rhythm and the timing is right with Jalen Hurts, practically uncoverable. You got to double somebody, and the other guy's left one-on-one, and that other guy's going to win those one-on-ones. But so far on the season, it just has not looked clean. A.J. Brown was targeted 8 times a couple of weeks ago, and it's just not looking like he can get on the same page as Jalen Hurts this past week. Wide open, should have been an easy touchdown, and not able to connect with his quarterback. It's got to be very frustrating for Philadelphia fans knowing the ceiling and the capabilities of this offense. But look, there's still a lot of football left to be played, and why I really think that this can be sort of a get-right game. All the talk about the New York Giants and how explosive that pass rush is, how it is unbelievable, and how you definitely aren't going to want to throw the ball on us this week, Eagles. We got a great pass rush. No sacks against the New Orleans Saints and Spencer Rattler going into a game when you were expecting to put a ton of pressure on them. They got the tackles for loss. They had, I think, 6 or 7 tackles for loss in that game, but they did not put Spencer Rattler on the ground, sacking him, devastating the drives. Deacon Jones coining that phrase, couldn't do it. And if you can't put Jalen Hurts on the ground, well, guess what? This man has not turned the football over, throwing an interception on the season. He's still got an over 100 passer rating despite all the negativity. The Eagles are 4-1, having played a very tough 5-game stretch to start the year, and that's a lot better than a number of other teams can say. Just about everyone can to this stage. It's kind of funny now that this league is showing the amount of parity. There's more parity currently in this season of the NFL than is even close to recent memory, that there are no undefeated teams through the first 5 weeks of the season. The New York Giants can beat a team like the Chargers and then bounce back in a bad way the next week and lose to New Orleans Saints, one of the worst teams in football. So you see the wide range and how much talent there is splattered across the NFL. In a matchup like this, I'm just curious how New York stays in this game, frankly put. When you don't have the ability to go to your guy 10 times, throwing it to Nabers, and you have to try and rely a little bit more on the legs of Jackson Dart, your young quarterback, against an extremely physical Philadelphia defense, a squad that's still trying to get their legs, but you can't argue that they are likely the best on paper defense in the NFL. It's like, is this the Cam Skattebo run it 19 times and Jackson Dart gets 10 and 11 carries? It just makes you a little bit wonder. This is a team that runs 11 personnel out on the field about 70% of the time, 3 wide receivers, a tight end, and a running back, trying to allow a little bit of balance in what you're able to do out of that formation. You're able to have 3 wide receivers threaten the defense and then also have balance with the extra big body in the run game to be able to run the football. I just don't know how they're going to attack Philadelphia. Like, what advantage that they have in this one. Cam Skattebo, this is really a lot on him, trying to bounce back after last week. He was able to run the football well. I mean, so far on the season, he has been running it great. A lot of negativity on him coming out of that game. It's like, this guy is human. You have to remember, still, he's close to 5 yards a carry on the season, and he's a factor in he was a 4th-round pick in the draft. They still have hit on him up to this point. You have to be excited. Their first round draft picks in Dart and Abdul Carter, certainly feeling great about. That was the concern about the New York Giants, in my opinion, was, look, if you're going to throw Jackson Dart in this season, that confidence is going to be up against the wall. You're going to have 2 matchups. This Eagles and Giants rivalry game will be renewed in just a couple of weeks when they play again at Lincoln Financial Field. So, like, you're throwing him into the fire. Tough games, tough defenses, and an opportunity on prime time in this case to show something. Now, Philadelphia, I really think you got to do a better job than giving Saquon Barkley only 6 carries. It's like they forgot he was on their team. I know there's the deep play down the field. Incredible. That was awesome in this game. Seeing him just break away a wheel route, not even remotely close. Beautiful throw from Jalen Hurts. Put a nice amount of air under the ball so he didn't overthrow Saquon Barkley. Goes into the end zone for the touchdown. That was phenomenal. But he's got to have more carries. I know you're trying to get the pass offense going, and it was just a little bit more prolific in this game, and you were able to have a bit more success. I just don't know stylistically if the Philadelphia Eagles want to be a team throwing the football more than 35 times and not giving Saquon Barkley more than 15 carries in the run game. Remember, this is a team that probably won't be retaining the success of the run game, having a guy go for over 2,000 yards a season ago. Don't exactly have to ask for that, but at least try it when you're up 14 points and you're ahead in that game, and when they have the lead in the second half. That's how you do what you've done earlier in the season or last year The Eagles in a one-score game up 4 points in the fourth quarter, it's over because they only have to pick up 8.5, 9 yards. 4th and 1, they can lean on you at the tush push. And with the run game to Barkley, 3 runs, we're going to pick up 9 yards, tush push, pick up the fourth, and just slowly march down the field. The clock goes tick, 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 and you wind up winning almost every one of your football games. That I just don't know. Landon Dickerson, the injury to him, he came out of the game against Denver with the ankle. What's his availability like? I don't know the extent of that injury as the recording of this. Not having him against that Giants front, Dexter Lawrence, Kayvon Thibodeau's coming along really well. Brian Burns is amongst the leaders in sacks for the National Football League. Abdul Carter is a monster, as we mentioned a little bit earlier. This guy's versatile, playing a little bit of off the football, kind of similar to Jahad Campbell. These guys were very similar body types, both about 6'3", 250 pounds, can line up on the edge, can come off the football right lined off of it and be explosive as pass rushers, but also great in coverage. They're rangy, good, very good in space, making tackles, just athletic freaks going to the football. So seeing Abdul Carter, Jahad Campbell going at it, it's going to be a very high level of football, and seeing which one of these teams can have a little bit of success running the ball. I'm leaning towards Philadelphia. Look, you've got the more experienced Super Bowl champion quarterback compared to a guy making his third start in the league Thursday night. I know it's at home, but frankly, that hasn't really meant a whole lot for the Giants or the New York Jets the last 5 years playing football games at home there at MetLife. I'm leaning on Philadelphia just on the standpoint of, all right, they're 4-1 coming out of that stretch. They played okay, and they're still 4-1. Having played that level of competition, a team like New York, even if it's a 7.5-point spread, I'm confident enough that they can cover that and win this game 27-17. Statistically, these teams have not been great. You go through the numbers. Clearly, the Giants, when you're a 1-4 team, the numbers stack up to that. 26 in the game as a defense in yards allowed, 22nd in points offensively. They're 19th in yards a game, 28th in points a game, just having a difficulty besides that one game against the Dallas Cowboys. And frankly, in the successful game against the Chargers, they were set up inside the 10 twice, inside the 5, led with field goal on the turnovers from Justin Herbert. So it was Jackson Dart the opening drive, but how much success did they have against LA in that football game? For the Eagles, though, I'm not exactly as concerned about 30th in yards a game, 11th in points, is able to go against that. And again, who they've played so far in the season. Defensively, 21st in yards, 16th in points a game. They are definitely going to have to be better overall as a unit coming out of that first stretch of the season. But I am confident that they can bounce back in a major way and get a big win in the division on the road against New York. I believe that they can get the ball a bit more to Saquon, start to lean a bit more on the talent that they have. The one-on-one matchups, take them. Devontae Smith, A.J. Brown, the only way to sort of get through this rut, if you will, is to keep giving those guys chances. They're so talented, especially A.J. Brown. I still got him as a top 5 wide receiver in my book, and give those guys opportunities more often than not. They can come out there and win. Look, my last thing I'll say here is Jackson Dart. I really hope that they stick with Dable and him. You can see the potential this kid has. I watched a ton of his game at Ole Miss, and they were in a ton of competitive games and in that pro-style offense. And what that means is that he's making checks at the line of scrimmage. You can go to run or pass. You're looking at the numbers. You're looking at the safeties. Are there 6 guys in the box? Well, all right, we can check into a run. Okay, they're going a little bit heavier. Check to a pass, and in this RPO style and what they can continue to play with New York, that they can go to that a little bit more often. Like, this guy is prepared for the bigger stages, and I ultimately do think that it can help him going against the gauntlet of the schedule that they will face. It's just that I really hope that they stick with Dable, give him another year with Dart after this season ends, no matter what the record is, to give him that stability with a coach, not have to learn a whole new language, potentially a whole new offense. So I've got Eagles 27, Giants 17. Please let me know down below in the comments who you think comes out with the win in this game. I want to hear from all of you guys, Eagles fans, Giants fans. Let me know. I appreciate you so much for watching. Please subscribe for more Blitz with Blender content in the future. I make NFL and college videos every day. I appreciate you guys so much. Thank you for watching, and I will see you next time. Best player in college football. That Georgia and Ohio State game, New Year's Eve, is going to be a classic.
Josh Blunder, hi everybody, I'm Josh Blunder. To the 40, 35, 30, Espinosa.